Okay, what are you saying, people, and welcome back to another live stream. Now, before we get into this today, make sure you join me on my Telegram channel. Left link to that in my live chat and also description below. Posting different trading setups there, and make sure you go check that out. But like I said, another live stream like usual. Feel free to comment which pairs you want me to take a look at. Feel free, or if you know any current trades you want me to take a look at, drop it in the chat and I'll make sure I'll go through it. Okay, I'll start with EuroCAD. So yeah, EuroCAD took a loss with this one. I was looking for a move to the downside. However, as you can see, the market is still quite bullish here. I was looking for a move to the downside yesterday with EuroCAD, since we did have this area of interest that I was looking at, this big area of big support. You can see a really nice area of support, big move to the upside, and then we did have this strong move to the downside on the weekly time frame. You can see we have that very strong weekly candle there closing at those lows, so I was anticipating the next weekly candle turning bearish as well and coming to the downside and pushing to go and fill this wick all the way down there. It still can happen because it's only Wednesday, so that still can happen. The market can turn bearish again, but so far it's looking quite bullish on the daily, so I don't think that will happen anymore. I think we might be pushing to the upside with the price action we're getting. But anyway, yesterday was looking for a move to the downside to go and fill that gap to the downside. And then if I jump to the 4H, you can see last week we got this big move. We broke through all of these structural lows there, so we're creating some new lows. So I was anticipating this to be a bit of retracement, and we had around the 50% retracement around there, and also it lined up with that daily support being resistance there as well, also with this kind of area of supply. So I was looking to capitalize on that move to the downside and see if you can get EuroCAD going, because EuroCAD has been in a downtrend for quite some time now. If I just zoom out, you can see we've been moving to the downside for quite some time, so I was anticipating another leg to the downside. However, it could be time to reverse. I mean, potentially I'm not gonna be looking for buys for EuroCAD until, you know, I'll probably see a break of that and then maybe a pullback, and then I'll look to ride it. But yeah, so EuroCAD still pushing up. I mean, still could come down, but yeah, I'll probably leave that alone now, because that's the area I was expecting to go, expecting the market to come down from last weekend when I was analyzing the market. However, as you can see, that has failed, so it might push up, might turn bullish, it might still come back down. Not really any of my business anymore. Yeah, there you go, William. There you go. That's the last time I give you liquidity, mate. Yeah. So yeah, EuroCAD, if it is reversing, you know, this is probably the area to reverse, because looking from the weekly, I was expecting more continuation. However, with that daily close there, like I said, it might be the market trying to reverse. I'm going to be in the sidelines though, but if it is reversing, this probably will be the bottom, and then you probably could expect, you know, a big move to the upside, because from a weekly point of view, if you weren't going to go fill that gap to the downside, then that means, you know, this consolidation most likely probably break to the upside. And if it does, you know, you've got a lot of room to work with for EuroCAD, so that could be a really nice runner if it does break to the upside, because, you know, we have this consolidation, and if you were to break to the upside, you expect the market to go fill this gap here to that resistance up there. And, you know, you can see if I just measure that, you know, over 300 pips, so could be a really good trade if you hold on to it and it does break to the upside. And yeah, we were speaking about UAD, weren't we? You said you weren't gonna long UAD because of the messiness, but still went for it. Yeah, but no, UAD is still bullish market, still pushing to the upside, creating higher highs, higher lows. This could just be a bit of retracement for another big push to the upside, similar to what we had here. I mean, oh, that's not what I wanted. If you look at the price action, it's quite similar to what we had here. And then we had this big push to the upside after a nice bullish close. So we could be having that for UAD, another breakout to the upside, you know, giving maybe a few hundred pips. And then we start doing this retracement mode again, maybe reverse or continue. So yeah, UAD, I do expect to go up. Just because of the nature of the market is still bullish, still creating higher highs, higher lows, failing to break through that previous low there. So yeah, UAD is still favored to go up for that one. But like you said, just a little bit choppy, but if price action does play out similar to what it did here, we should be getting another one of these bursts to the upside. And I think AUD is probably going to be weak for the next couple of weeks or so. If we do see AUD/USD, AUD/JPY, AUD/CHF keep falling to the downside, then we should see some weakness on AUD. That is true, yeah. Risk is off, to be fair. $159.048. Okay, so probably that area there then, which does make sense because that could reject price against you. And if we get above it, we could actually go a lot further. But yeah, that makes sense for first area of TP. But yeah, I do agree. UAD does look good to the upside. USD, another one similar to UAD as well. You can see this one is still looking bullish as well. There might be. Okay, so almost coming to that trend line there. Connecting these three major points, 1, 2, 3. But you could argue that is a kind of a trend line bounce, even though it's missed it by a few pips, but it's come near to it from a daily point of view. So we're coming up again, looking quite bullish. We do have this daily resistance here, which price looks like it closed above just about yesterday. So it looks like USD could be having another kick to the upside. And if USD is going to have a kick to the upside, there's a good chance UAUD is going to have a kick to the upside as well. The lower time frames, 4 hour, still looking bullish. Nice bullish candle closed there after a bit of consolidation. Haven't really cleared the wicks though, so it might pull back. But if the momentum does follow through, then yeah, I do expect to see another push to the upside. Maybe even back to those highs up there or even further. But USD is looking quite bullish right now. And I did say yesterday, look how USD closes. Same with GPNSD as well. If it closes above or below or pulls back, this one closed above, so we could see some nice continuation. GPNSD as well for this one. I think this one pulled back, to be fair. Still looking bullish though, because we are seeing some weakness in the NSD in the New Zealand dollar right now. So as you can see, we did pull back. So a little bit dodgy with this one, because if it did pull back, potentially the next daily candle could pull back as well. So yeah, not as clear not as clear for this one. This one again, I did have that trend line drawn in, connecting these major lows, so 1, 2, 3, 4. So we could pull back into that same trend line again after rejecting that resistance, and then have the push. So that could still happen. Again, it does depend on the strength of the pound, but right now it's still looking quite bullish. I go in the 4H time frame, still looking bullish there. Nice wick to the downside, sending people the wrong way, close bullish. So yeah, we might be seeing some momentum to the upside there, but again, important to see how that daily candle closes. Pound JPY short, that should be looking good. Yeah, still making its way to the downside there. So yeah, and as anticipated, we did expect to see a push back into this support. Again, either to break it or hold, not too sure yet. Because for me, pound JPY, if you look at the higher time frames, is still bullish. Like a weekly time frame, it's still bullish. So if the market wants to go stay bullish, you know, this is the area where you do expect it to hold and then continue. But from a daily point of view, this is bearish structure. You can see push, pull back, then collapse, pull back, and now turning bearish again. So daily's bearish, but weekly's bullish. So kind of contradicting each other. But if we were to keep this bearish momentum up, we should be breaking through this area, creating some new lows. So again, as long as you know you're taking profit, and for pound JPY, there's nothing really to worry about. If you turn bullish, you turn bullish. If we stay bearish, then you know you should be in a really nice trade. Because like I said yesterday, pound JPY, if you just zoom out, we've had this massive bull run. We're coming up into this resistance here in the market. You know, we're due a breather, and this could be the area where we're due a breather. So if we do turn bearish from a weekly point of view, you know, you could be catching the market right at the top there, and could be in a really nice trade. So well done there. Halorex, how are you? Good morning. Hope you're doing well. Yeah, USD CAD, we're favoring longs for that one as well. I believe nice daily candle closure. Yes, yeah, so nice daily candle closure. This is like looks like to be the pullback. See those wicks there, price is failing to push through. We were holding that area. I think we had about 3 times we tried to push into it. So 1, 2, 3, and then we had a strong candle closure, then the 4H, and then we're moving to the upside. So yeah, market is looking bullish there for USD CAD. We've taken out that previous high there. Sorry. So yeah, we could be due a pullback, but yeah, onwards and upwards, I think, for USD CAD, as long as we keep that structure. US dollar seems to be quite strong right now. So yeah, as long as that keeps up, yeah, I think USD CAD should be back at high soon, around 1.25. And I think next stop for USD CAD past 1.25 will be 1.26. CHF JPY, take a look at that pair. Yeah, CHF JPY looks like trend. Yeah. I was expecting to see price roll over this week, since it looked like all the JPY pairs were going to do that. As you can see, we got to the 50% there quite nicely. So yeah, CHF JPY looks like it's rolling over, and again, similar to the other JPY pairs, expecting a push back into this support here. Again, I'm not sure if the price wants to break through or not, but we'll cross that bridge where we get to that, see what type of price action we're getting on the lower time frames, see how the candles are closing. But right now, momentum is to the downside, so I do expect to see more continuation, some new lows as well. We do have a key area of resistance and support around here, which is why price rejected that area quite nicely. So yeah, we could be coming back into that area, whether we break through or not. Again, I'm not too sure. We'll monitor price action when we get there, but overall price action is still quite bearish here for CHF JPY. And yeah, more downside. Again, for entries, you probably want to be looking for a bit of retracement and then the continuation if you trade the low time frames. Of course, we do have some nice area of support here. We are losing a little bit of momentum. Overall, still bearish though. So if you do pull back, maybe form another lower high, and then you can look to ride it down. But yeah, I personally only looking for shorts for CHF JPY, not really any long opportunities, because right now we're seeing a lot of JPY strength, a lot of US dollar strength. So I don't want to be trading it against that, because I think if that does keep up, it could continue for the next few weeks or even a month or two as well. If you take a look at the DXY, DXY is still pushing to the upside. So again, we had this nice bottom formation with those 2 nice wicks there of manipulation. So 1, 2, holding this area of support, and then we broke to the upside. I believe it was Monday, and then we've been pushing to the upside since then. So yeah, more upside for the DXY, so more strength for the DXY as well. So that means we should be pushing to this area here, 92, 400, 300 for the DXY. and I do think we could be pushing much further than that, maybe even 93. If you do see 93, then we should be seeing big drops to the downside for AUD/USD, EUR/USD, GBP/USD. So yeah, I think more upside for the DXY. See what happens at this resistance here, whether you smash through or not, and then that will determine for a lot of the other USD pairs whether we will continue in that bearish trend or bullish trend for USD CAD and USD CHF. I'll check now. I haven't checked the news for today yet, so I'm going to check. Okay, so we've already had some Euro news that was already gone at 10. We've got some US dollar news, employment change at 1:15, 2 hours and 45 minutes from now, high impact. Not expecting too much from that, but other than that, I'm not really seeing any CAD news. Well, yeah, I am, but only medium and low impact. So yeah, it shouldn't be anything significant. Shouldn't be any significant from a fundamental standpoint for the Canadian dollar. But I think either we could be seeing a lot of weakness from CAD, looking at a lot of the Forex pairs, because AD CAD being in a massive downtrend here, so obviously we'll be seeing a lot of strength in the CAD. If I go Euro CAD, another one big downtrend, strength in the CAD. USD CAD obviously, but that was a lot of weakness in the dollar as well. But strength in the CAD, NZD CAD, strength in the CAD as well. So we could be seeing some weakness in the CAD coming soon, because a lot of these pairs need to retrace. So we could be seeing some weakness in the CAD soon, but yeah, nothing on the fundamentals so far yet. Yeah, NFP this Friday, so need to watch out for that as well. First Friday of the month. I feel like it's come very quickly since the last NFP. Morning, John. How are you? Hope you are doing well. Yeah, sure. We'll take a look at pound USD right now. Okay, so pound USD, we saw more continuation to the downside as expected from yesterday. Haven't quite reached 1.38. Well, we've reached that support, but haven't quite reached 1.38 exactly yet. So we can expect more downside for pound USD. But like I said, we're coming to an area where price has been bouncing numerous times, so potentially we could be seeing another bounce for GBP/USD to the upside, just because we're at that same area of support. 1.38 has been holding quite nicely previously. As you can see, nice bounce there, big nice bounce there, bit of a false breakout, but nice bounce there, and again a nice bounce there. So we could be seeing maybe a nice bounce to the upside, but if we do see a break of 1.38, then I do expect us to come back to this support here, as I was explaining yesterday. But we might see a bit of retracement to start with, because again we've been pushed to the downside quite nicely. Could be seeing a bit of retracement coming from that support, and then potentially go and break it, or might retrace a little bit further and then come and break it. Yeah, it does flow fast. I mean, weeks go by really quickly now as trading, because you get to the market Monday, and the next thing you know, it's Friday, and you're like, where's the week gone? And then the weekend goes so slow. Just wait for the market to reopen. But yeah, GBP/USD, I think a bit of retracement for GBP/USD. If I go on the hourly time frame for you, draw that trend line a little bit better. Okay, so yeah, a little bit of retracement, maybe back into that trend line there, and then maybe the continuation back down. So potentially look for entries around here. We do have that support, now term resistance. But yeah, I wouldn't be looking for longs for pound USD. You can be looking for longs because we are coming from a nice area of support. But like I said, my bias for GBUSD is to the downside. I don't really want to go against that, even though I could be wrong. You know, I'm only looking for sells. And if you do break through this area, I think it's just gonna be a deeper retracement to come again and go and break through that support there. So yeah, I'll personally wait for GBUSD to retrace and then look for some selling opportunities. And again, probably want to get your stop loss to break even fairly quickly, because you will be selling into that support, which is not too far away, which could come back up against you. But yeah, a bit of retracement and then move to the downside. You can already see on the hourly time frame, we've got these nice wicks to the downside. So price is already forming an area of support, which is struggling to break through. So yeah, we might be seeing some upside retracement and then the continuation back down again. Gold. Yeah, so gold, we saw gold collapse to the downside yesterday. As you can see, really nice push to the downside. We did break through the support on the live stream yesterday, so we had that nice closure below that support, and then we saw the retest of that same support there with that wick. Look on the hourly time frame, you can see the retest of that, and then the big collapse to the downside. But yeah, like I said on the live stream yesterday, gold is bearish still. We did have that big collapse to the downside from the previous week, not last week, the week before, and now we're just seeing the continuation of that. Really, the price was having a little bit of a breather, losing momentum, consolidating, and then as you can see, slowly picked up momentum as the size of the candles got bigger, and then we had that big drop to the downside. But overall, gold is still bullish. Now I think we could be seeing some retracement to the upside for gold, because I was expecting to see price come back up and retest that again before the collapse, but it already did that, create some new lows past this point here. So I think if the market does keep up with this, the way it's moving, or push, pullback, push, pullback, push, we should be in pullback mode now, and then maybe another push again later on, maybe next week. So yeah, I think gold, we should be retracing back to the upside now. We might spike again to the lows, but I think we should be retracing to the upside, maybe retest this area here or retest this resistance here, and then maybe see another drop to the downside. But after that drop there, I do expect to see retracement, and again, we still haven't retraced this big move to the downside there as well. So I think gold could see a big move to the upside soon, but right now it's too bearish to call that. So I'm just going to focus on sells right now rather than longs, and try and catch that move to the upside, which doesn't even need to happen really. So yeah, gold more room to the downside, but I think first we're going to retrace to the upside, and then we could be looking for some nice shorting opportunities to take that down again on the lower time frames, whether it's at this support resistance here or that level up there. But yeah, I think retracement first and then another push to the downside there. I think on the daily, we do have this area of support here, which does look like we're trying to break through it again. So again, nice area of support, big move to the upside, support, big move to the upside as well. So yeah, if we can break through this, I did say in my weekly analysis video that if we break through that and hold underneath, I do think gold has a nice possibility of coming back to 1680. Key level support, we had this double bottom, and then we had that big run to the upside, because the market is still bearish. If I zoom out for gold, you can see, connect these highs here in the market, you know, these are all lower highs here. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4, potentially a lower high. We haven't had it yet, but yeah, these are all lower highs. So the market is still technically bearish, even though it's having these massive bull runs to the upside. It is still bearish from a higher time frame point of view. So potentially we could actually see new lows for gold. I'm not sure if that will happen though. I'm not sure if that happen, because overall I still think gold should be moving to the upside back to 2000, maybe even further. If I go in the monthly time frame, you can see we've had this massive push to the upside, and this price action is probably just retracement for another big move to the upside. So have to be aware of that. But from a technical standpoint, we could see another push back to 1680. But I think for that to happen, we need to hold under that support there. Hold on that support, then yeah, we could be seeing a big run to the downside for gold. But right now we've closed below it slightly, but I'm not going to take that as price holding below, because we could easily put back above. So yeah, I think some upside room for gold for retracement after that drop we had yesterday, and then a move to the downside again. Yeah, sure, we'll take a look at that's right now. D30, this one had a big move to the downside here, so I'm thinking more downside here because we've had a massive run to the upside, and I think we'll probably have another move to the downside after this, because you have this big drop here, prices retraced, another big drop here. So more downside, probably back at the support here, maybe some new lows as well, because price definitely broke through structure here. This looks like just to be retracement, giving us another lower high. So high, 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 lower high here, and I do think we'll probably see that continuation come down and give us some new lows past that point there. So yeah, any retracement to the upside I think is a nice opportunity to sell, and then we could be seeing some more downside continuation, maybe at some new lows as well, maybe revisiting some of these previous lows here where we had those big spikes to the upside. So yeah, I think yeah, more downside definitely after that big shift of momentum there. Lower time frames, retracement to the upside, could look to capitalize on that, and then another move to the downside, and then yeah, some new lows past that point looks quite likely, and this could be our first lower high. So after that, it could be retraced from another lower high, and then more downside continuation from that. But yeah, more downside definitely, and maybe we can drop to the hourly, 30 minute or 50 minute for entries on those pullbacks. US 30, US 30 right now looking quite bearish here after that big drop we had to the downside there. So price is looking very, very bearish there. Let's clear the chart, start fresh. Okay, so potentially US 30, we've created these lower highs here, and potentially this one as well. We could still pull back, but potentially that one. But yeah, okay, yeah, GU, I can see some resemblance because it is starting to consolidate, push the downside, pull back, and we could be seeing that continuation. But yeah, I do think that US30 will be seeing that continuation to the downside, back to this support here if that does keep up. So back down to 33,000, maybe some new lows past that. But yeah, I do see more downside for the US30 definitely. If that is a lower high, then yeah, we should be collapsing all the way back down to these lows, because you can see there we broke through structure, we pushed to the upside, failed to take out this point here, so quick giving us that lower high, then another collapse to the downside. So we could be seeing price having a big collapse back down to that support there. So yeah, selling opportunities look really good for the US30, and a big drop as well. So yeah, a lot of pips to catch, and that's even the 4-hour chart. Dropping from the hourly chart, you know, we've had that nice push. Any pullbacks, look to write that down. And then kind of first area would be this area here of indecision. You might cause a bit of interference, but if you can break through that, then I should see a nice fall back down to these lows all the way down there. Okay, that's a nice shout there, William, to be fair. I haven't really been looking to stocks at all, really, but yeah, I am interested in learning about, um, investing and just having the money there on the side, because Forex is all well and good, but that's good for the long term. And at the end of the day, you don't have to do too much as well. You can just do your research, put your money in the stock, and then leave it for the long term. So yeah, that is a good shout, to be fair. Holding in trades, yeah, I'm currently in Euro USD short right now, since Monday. So yeah, if I just put it in, so yeah, that's currently the trade I'm in right now, holding that Euro USD short back into these lows here. So this is the prior low at 1.18500. So yeah, I'm seeing if we can get another push into this area. First target was hit yesterday. As you can see, this is the prior low here before we have a nice push to the upside. So I do expect to see some type of bullish movement from there. And as you can see, we've had this big push, bit of consolidation. Price is respecting that area, but I do think we can break through it and see a push into these lows here. So yeah, that's currently the only trade I'm in right now. Was in EuroCAD, but did get stopped out of that one. So yeah, I'm currently owning Euro USD, which I've been since Monday. Hopefully trying to see if we can get pushed to 1.18500 by the end of the week. Yeah, and then potentially we could go to 1.18, but I don't think I'll hold Euro USD for that long. So yeah, more downside for Euro USD, and I'm looking for a test of those previous lows, maybe even a spike of those previous lows. But yeah, that's the only trade that I'm currently in right now. Yeah, I agree. More downside for gold. Looking at the higher time frames, market is still bearish, and we've seen a nice collapse. I think a bit of retracement first though on the lower time frames, but more downside there. And if we can break through, this support here, which does look like price wants to do, then I can see price filling this gap to the downside, which is a big gap, a lot of pips to catch, all the way back down to those lows, 1680, and maybe even spiking below them as well. But yeah, more downside for gold. And again, if the US dollar strength does come into play and stay in play, then yeah, gold should be continuing to the downside. Okay, thank you, William. I'll go check that out. I appreciate that. Because I want to diversify, not only just be in Forex as well, look at other financial markets. Because I know this that will be fairly similar from a technical standpoint. Obviously, the fundamentals and The things that drive the markets will be different, but yeah, I do want to kind of diversify the markets that I look at as well, not just Forex. Yeah, sure thing. Euro USD. So currently in a trade for that, but looking for a move to the downside for this pair. We had this area of support not so long ago, which is now acting as resistance here on the daily time frame. So this is the daily, by the way. Yeah, daily time frame, price support, nice move to the upside. It was acting as resistance there as well. And then as you can see there with these wicks that we had last week, and now we're expecting to see the market roll over to the downside and just go and test that previous support there on the daily. Going on to the 4H, you can see we had that resistance there. Price was trying to break it, had 1, 2, 3, 4 attempts at try and break through it and just giving us wicks to the upside. So overall, Euro USD is failing to break through that resistance there, and now we've had the collapse to the downside and the rollover. So going on to the hourly time frame, I do expect to see, if I just remove this for a second, I do expect to see Euro USD continue that bearish momentum to the downside and see a push back into these lows here, 1.18500. And right now I'm just treating this as retracement. So yeah, opportunities for Euro USD, maybe another retracement to the upside. We do have nice resistance here, which price is holding at, which is probably lining up that support there. So maybe on the lower time frames, like the 30 or 15 minute, if you retrace back into here, another failure to break through, you can take advantage of some shorts back into this low here, 1.18500, and maybe some new lows as well. But yeah, my bias is to the downside for Euro USD, so not looking for buys, sorry. And yeah, only expecting more continuation to the downside. Of course, we could still push up, maybe form another lower high around there and then collapse again, but I think that's just another opportunity to sell the market. So yeah, biases to the downside for Euro USD. We had a big collapse a couple of weeks ago, and I think we're just seeing the continuation of that collapse to the downside. So yeah, only sells for Euro USD. And USD CAD on the flip side, I think only buys for USD CAD right now. Price is looking very bullish here on the daily. You can see it looks like we're forming potentially a higher low. Obviously we don't know it's a higher low until we create a new high, but potentially that's a new higher low. Nice shift of momentum there on the daily chart. We pushed to the upside after rejecting this area 3 times, 1, 2, 3, and nice push to the upside, also taking out that prior high there as well. So for USD CAD, expecting to see a little bit of retracement to the downside after taking out that high there, bit of a breather, and then the continuation back up to 1.25, which is this resistance here. Well, it's not quite 1.25, but around there, and then potentially some new highs. So again, for USD CAD, they're only looking for those buying opportunities after a little bit of retracement, and then take that higher, and create some new highs. So yeah, I hope that analysis helped. Okay, yeah, that's cool. Yeah, I'll make sure I check that out actually. Thanks, William, for that. Have you been reading into stocks for quite some time, or you just got into it recently then? Okay, so Euro GBP was looking at this pair yesterday, and on my weekly analysis, and it looks like we're going to get a move to the downside here. So we had this area here on the daily, so support, now turning resistance, and we also had confluence here of a trend line as well. And it looks like price is trying to break through that area, so we kind of met quite nicely with confluence there. And price had a wick yesterday, failing to break through. If I drop to the full H, you can see had another nice wick there at 10 a.m, pulled back, and now again they get that continuation to the downside. So it looks like Euro GBP is moving to the downside. So I can see Euro GBP back at this support here all the way down there in the next few days, maybe next week potentially. But yeah, sales for Euro GBP do look good now after that big spike and another big drop. So that could just be like manipulation there, liquidity grab, and then we could be seeing that continuation. So maybe a retest of that support, now term resistance, and then the continuation to the downside. But yeah, sales look really good here for Euro GBP. Back down to 0.85350 and maybe some new lows as well. So yeah, only looking for sales for this pair. A retest of that maybe on the 15-minute or 30-minute, whatever, and then yeah, take it to the downside. But you can see that was a really interesting close there on the full H, that candle there, the doji with the big wick to the upside, putting it all the way back down. Because if you imagine at one point this was a big bullish candle, you know, at those highs there, a lot of people will be impulsively buying that, and then it's pulled all the way back down and actually managed to close bearish. So that tells me that's a nice you know, manipulation there, and then we're going to see the follow through to the downside. So that's what it looks like is happening for Euro GBP. So if you want to take advantage of that opportunity, if you do retrace back to the upside, and then we can see the continuation. And again, if the market does continue with this bearish structure here of push, pullback, push, pullback, this is a pullback, and then we should see another push back to the lows, create new lows. So it does have some mileage to the downside if it does play out. So that could be one that you have on your watch list there. Oh, okay. Appreciate that, William. Because I'll be meaning to read up about it as well and get involved, but yeah, I just haven't found the time to do that yet. But I will make sure I go check that out. Thank you a lot for sharing that with me. Okay, so we're going to take a look at some of the pound pairs. So we already looked at GPUSD, looked at pound JPY, expecting more downside for this pair. We've already had a nice drop, so it could be in retracement mode for another push up. And then also we've looked at GPSD as well, looking for that retracement. However, price is looking like it's still pushing to the upside. Again, we've had this colossal trend line here on the daily time frame. If I connect those previous lows, so 1, 2, 3, 4, and then we had that push to the upside, and it's looking quite bullish. We did pull back yesterday, however, this candle here is looking very strong. And I did say this 10 a.m. candle here had a nice wick to the downside and then closed really strongly bullish. So it's telling me that price has had a fake to the downside, and the momentum has definitely switched to the upside. So yeah, I do see more upside for GPNSD, and again, I do see some weakness in the NSD as well, simply just because of that big push we've had to the downside for a lot of the NSD pairs. So I do expect to see continuations of those moves, and that looks like it's playing out right now. We might be seeing a bit of pound strength in the markets as well, so that's helping to the upside. Pound AUD similar there as well, as you can see, even a similar candle as well, with a nice wick to the downside, pulling back up and actually closing bullish, and now we're seeing the momentum continue to the upside there as well. So for pound AUD, I do expect us to get back to those highs there, and then continue bullish, because GPAUD is in a bullish market here. It's coming back into that resistance, so it is a barrier. Obviously the market structure takes charge over, areas of the market of resistance or support, because we do expect to see resistance break in bullish trends and support hold. Whether this is going to break or not too sure, since we already did have a quite strong reaction from it last week, but I still do think we can break through that area, maybe even at least give us a nice wick to the upside above those highs there, and then maybe collapse after that. But right now the market's still bullish, so I think we'll have another drive into those highs and then maybe turn bearish after that as well. But right now still bullish, so I think more continuation back to the highs. USD JPY, haven't looked at that pair yet. Yeah, USD JPY very, very choppy. Yeah, so this pair very choppy. It's kind of squeezing between these two trend lines here, so we might be seeing a breakout and a bit of a nice injection of momentum. But I did say for USD JPY that we did have this trend line here. If I connect these previous lows, so 1, 2, 3 and 4, I connect that low there as well. So yeah, we could be seeing price maybe continue this momentum to touch that trend line and then a nice injection of momentum, or on the flip side, a nice break of that trend line there. But like I said, we are seeing the strength of the US dollar coming in. Obviously we're seeing the strength of the yen as well, but I think maybe the US dollar might be slightly stronger than the yen. So as of right now, it's the other way around because we are slowly falling to the downside. But I think we can hold that trend line and have another big push to the upside. Right now we are trading in the area of resistance right now. As you can see, but we did have this big push to the downside, and then we're coming back into that same area. So yeah, we could see a break of that, but we do have to take into account that we did see this big push to the downside. So if price was to do a similar move, we should be breaking through that trend line there again, turn bearish, and then we can be looking for selling opportunities after that. But right now price looks like it's in retracement mode, so no real need to be looking for longer term sells. And I think the buys could be good at this trend line, of course only if we do hold that and reject it though. Yeah, that is very true. To be fair, that is very true. It does like move into fresh areas of support and resistance as well. I mean, we've seen that a lot, to be fair. Like GPND is another area of resistance where we've had multiple tests, so we could actually be seeing a bigger breakout for this one. 1, 2, 3, 4, bit of a false breakout there, but we could be seeing a bigger breakout happen for that pair. We did see one on 80 JPY not too long ago, well, quite long ago actually, with this big push to the upside here, nice area of resistance all across there, and then we had that big breakout there of that resistance. Obviously it turns out to be false, but we did have a really big breakout there as well. So yeah, I do agree with that. And currently ADJY looks very, very bearish as well. So yeah, we are definitely seeing some yen strength in the pair, and also AUD weakness. So yeah, ADJY, like I did say before, for this one I do expect to see price back at this support here, and maybe some new lows as well. We might retrace to the upside first and then fall. That could still definitely happen, but it doesn't have to. You can just fall anyway. The momentum is very much with the bears, so we could easily just see price flip bearish again with that candle and just continue to the downside quite easily. But if it wants to retrace, I think that's just another opportunity to get involved in some shorts on the lower time frames and capitalize on another continuation back down to 82,200, or maybe some new lows past that as well. CAD JPY, another JPY pair, again still falling to the downside. Like I did say with this, with AJPY, I can still see another push to the upside and then the collapse to the downside, because again I still expect to see that bearish momentum come in, but we might see a move to the upside first and then the drop, because we did see a big impulsive move here. You know, this could be the retracement of that as well, so you do have to take that into account. But I think we'll probably see another push and then the drop to the downside for these pairs. On the daily chart, they are looking very, very bearish as well, so yeah, I do expect to see them roll over anyway. But if we do have that push, like I said, it's just another opportunity to get involved with these shorts and take it lower, but it doesn't have to, it can just fall to the downside anyway. But yeah, I will not be looking for buys for CAD JPY. I'm really only looking to sell that pair because I still see this support getting reached, 88, and maybe even further. Euro JPY, another one of those pairs, running out of momentum slightly, so might see that big retracement and then the collapse to the downside. But again, targets will be this support down there. GJ, again, another pair, already spoke about this one, looking for a push to those lows. Starting to find a little bit of support there, so this one might push to the upside and then drop. But anyway, if it does, like I said, another opportunity to get involved in those shorts. And NZJPY as well, we can see all these pairs are pretty much the same, just slightly different because of the strength of the other pairs that the yen is partnered with. But pretty much the price action is the same. It's, you know, a bit of consolidation just beforehand, the collapse, a big push back up, and now we're seeing that continuation to the downside. So it does show to us that we don't really need to trade every single pair, because all the yen pairs that I've just gone through, pretty much the same price action. So you just need to pick the best one, you know, best one whichever fits fundamentally or technically, and then just trade that pair, because it's pretty much the same move that we're looking at right now. So yeah, move to the upside potentially, but I do expect to see these pairs back at that support maybe by the end of the week. USDJPY is the only pair that is different though. USDJPY is the only pair that's different, and that's because US dollar and Japanese yen do have similar strengths. So this pair is a lot more choppy and doesn't flow as well as the other JPY pairs. But the other JPY pairs pretty much the same. It won't always be the same though, so don't take that to heart, because again we could be seeing a lot of different because of fundamentals, but as of right now they are moving very, very similar, so don't really need to trade every pair. Just pick the best ones and just trade that pair. Similar for a lot of the US dollar pairs as well. We're seeing that move continuation to the downside of the big drop. You know, that was fundamentals coming in, so all the USD pairs did the exact same thing, and now we're just seeing the continuation of those pairs. So again, don't need to trade all of them. I'm currently trading Euro USD, which is probably the pair that didn't really move the most, to be fair. ADUSD moved a lot more, ANSDUSD moving a lot more, USD CAD moving a lot more as well. So I kind of drew the short straw by trading Euro USD, but at the end of the day my risk is low. You know, I'm not giving myself extra stress that I don't need, and just making sure that, you know, I do my best to try and stay in the right direction of the market. It won't work all the time, and then keeping the risk low and the reward high as well. Bitcoin seems to be pushing to the upside quite nicely, to be fair. It's broken through that previous point there in the market, but it is turning bearish again. I think that's the main resistance there, 36k. If it can break through 36k, Bitcoin might be seeing some upside back to 40k. But yeah, not really looking to get involved with this pair. Mainly just keeping tracks on it, see how it's going. But it looks to still be quite bearish right now. I need to take out some of these key levels here to turn bullish again. And even if it does do that, I don't think it'll be turning bullish overall. I just think it'll be pushing up to form another lower high and then collapse again to the downside. We've already had this big drop here, which does need to be retraced eventually, and then we could be seeing more continuation. But yeah, not really looking to get involved in any of those moves there for Bitcoin. Not until I've seen a lot more downside, and then probably get involved in some long opportunities. But as of yet, nothing there. Pound CAD, this pair here, very choppy, and we thought, well, I thought anyway last week, that we could be seeing a break to the downside here and finally seeing some, smoother price action there in the market, which we were seeing towards the end of last week. As you can see, we did see a nice drop. Smooth price action was there, but it might be coming back into whatever consolidation mode that it was in previously. As you can see there on the daily, is pushing back up. It might just be pushing back up to form another lower high and then collapse to the downside again. But yeah, I just don't trust this pair too much, to be honest with you. We have a nice area of support there. So I did say on my weekly analysis that if we did clear this support, 1.70500, we might be seeing a lot smoother price action down here. Just because if you look left, there's hardly any interference there. But if you look left here, there's wicks and everything all over the shop over there, so the clarity isn't quite there, but the clarity is here. So we might be seeing a lot smoother price action if we do clear this support here, and on the retest could look to get involved and then see the continuation from there on out. And we'll be targeting the previous low here, 1.68500, thereabouts. And again, we did have a nice test of that trend line there as well, connecting these highs. So again, first test up there, second, third, come back in the trend line there again. So we might be seeing some type of reaction there, but again, clarity from breaking this support might be really good. So on the retest, take that down. Could let's get involved where the market is right now, but like I said, it's just a bit choppy. So might want to wait for the break and retest. But yeah, you can let's get involved, but you could be stuck in some consolidation, or the market could just have a mind of its own and want to continue to the upside, so you need to watch out for that. But I personally probably wait for the break of that, see what price does after that, and on the retest, and then might look to get involved there. But like I did say, the market I still believe is to the downside, so we'll not be looking for buys, only looking for sells. Unless we break through that trend line and start creating some higher highs, then I'll probably change my bias. But as of right now, I think downside. Pound CHF, this one pushing to the upside again, back into this area here, which is struggling to break through for some time. So resistance, support, resistance, and now we're coming back into that area again. It might be looking like price wants to break to the upside for Pound CHF, since we tried to push to the downside over here and we failed to take out that recent low or even equal it. We created a higher low, another push to the upside. We didn't break through the resistance there, but it could be one test, a bit of a breather, and then now it goes and breaks it. But again, not too sure. The price action for this one is quite choppy as well, similar to GBP CAD. On the 4H, we're looking bullish again, so it might be price holding this support, and now I was trying to go and break through that area. But I probably want to see a nice daily close above this, and then on the retest could get involved. And again, look at the price action there, strong bearish candles, not much interference. So if it does play out, we could be seeing a nice move back into that area up there, and just price go fill in this range and really see a nice breakout there for GB CAD. GU and EU, they are looking good. GU did test that support there. I still do see more downside for GU, but we could be in a bit of retracement mode now for pound USD, because again, we did see a nice drop last week. Was it this week? Last week. A nice drop there, then we had that pullback, another drop there, and I think one pullback, and then might see another drop. But I do think GBUSD is at a support where it could push higher. But I do think if it does push higher, it'll probably just collapse again to the downside. Again, you probably don't want to be in the trade whilst that happens though. So might want to secure some profits. Not saying get out of the trade, but maybe secure some profits or move your stop loss to break even. But yeah, we have tested that support, so potentially GBUSD might want to push up. But I did say if we're going to the hourly time frame, it might just be retracement, and we could just come back into that trend line there where we've had 1, 2, 3. We might push into this trend line, have a fourth test, which does line up with this support here, now term resistance, and then fall to the downside there again. So GBUSD might want to do that again. But like I said, it's coming from a strong support. It might just actually go and break through that, push up, give us another major lower high up here, somewhere up there. Not saying it has to be there, that's just a random point I picked, but somewhere along the lines of there, and then fall to the downside there again. So GBUSD could be doing that. EURUSD similar to that as well. We're coming into this area of support. I did say if it was to come back up, reject that area, this resistance 1.19100, and there could be some nice sells on the lower time frames. But EURUSD is trading at this support. We did see a nice push to the upside from that support, which was expected. That's why it was my first TP. But yeah, if EURUSD wants to turn bullish again, I would think it had to get above that level there. So far it's failing to do that, and I'm still holding on to my trade for a move into this support here. And I do think we can break through that support, because I do expect to see more US dollar strength come into the market. So same thing for pound USD. I just think EURUSD is I just think euro is slightly weaker than the pound, so EURUSD is moving a little bit better. But same thing for GBUSD. I still do expect to see 1.38 reached, and maybe some new lows as well just past it. But it could be retracing first before it does that. So nothing too much to panic about. I'll say if it was to break through that trend line, yes, but nothing so far. USD CAD 1.23500. So that area around here, $1.24800. Okay, that resistance up there. So I mean, you could probably wait for a bit more retracement. I'll probably say this area here makes a lot more sense. It's got 50% retracement there, and also got previous resistance there as well. You can see a nice demand level there as well. So around that 1.23400 makes a little bit more sense to me than 1.23500, but again, still similar to the same area. But yeah, if USD CAD was to retrace all the way down there, then yeah, I still favor those buys, and back to 1.24800 makes a lot of sense, and maybe some new highs as well. So yeah, that idea does make a lot of sense, Samir. So yeah, I would go for that. The only thing is, I'm not too sure if USD CAD will retrace that far. Obviously, I can't see to the future, so that's just my guess. But if it does do that, then yeah, buys from that area back up to 1.24800 do look good. So that looks like a good opportunity there for some buys if it does retrace there. Nice cheer, nice. Yeah, I'm still currently in my EURUSD short as well. I just draw that in right now. So yeah, I'm currently still in my EURUSD short right now, seeing how that plays out. So far, all right. Had a nice strong reaction from that support. Again, that's why it was the first TP, because I did anticipate something happening there. We rejected this area quite nicely overnight and now pushed to the downside again. So I think now we're going to come back, test that support again, see what happens, see if we can break through it. We might have another bullish reaction. Depends what the market wants to do, but if we can take out this level, then EURUSD looks good back to these lows and maybe even further. But GBUSD has really done most of its move, haven't it? From pulling back, it's really done most of it. It's almost back at those previous lows. So GBUSD has definitely moved a lot better than EURUSD, but I think now we could be seeing EURUSD move slightly better than GBUSD, so that turn of events. So that might mean GBUSD consolidates a little bit, messes around, while EURUSD flows a little bit better, because we were looking at EURGBP, and as you can see, this pair is looking quite bearish, and I'm expecting to see a move to the downside. You can see EURGBP a big strong push to the downside there, so obviously telling us that euro is, as of now, weaker than the pound. And on the daily chart, again, the price is rejecting this area of support, so really nice big push to the upside. It's now acting as resistance, and also got this trend line here in the market there as well. So we've got confluence at that area, and we just saw a nice wick to the upside yesterday. And now looks like today's giving us a nice wick there as well. I know we still got about 12 hours left, or no, 11 hours left or something. I don't know, too fat. A lot of hours left. On the daily candle close, so it could change, could turn bullish, but as of yet, looking at the price action we got in the 4H, the hourly price is looking like it's rejecting this area. So I do expect to see EURGBP, if it does keep up this bearish price action, I do suspect this is just a pullback for another leg to the downside. So if that's the case, we should be seeing a weaker euro than the pound, which means EURUSD, it might be it's finding its time to kick in and give some momentum to the downside, whilst the pound maybe consolidates and then moves to the downside a little bit later after. So that's what I'm suspecting with GBUSD, why we've got this big push to the upside. Might mess around here, hopefully it stays underneath this level here, it stays underneath the trend line, and then we get the continuation to the downside. AUDUSD, exact same thing there as well, looking bearish here. This one very, very bearish here. You can see we did reject that daily area there. Our prior support now turn resistance, so that is where the area I was looking at on my weekly analysis video, and then we rejected that as resistance, and now we're falling to the downside. So it looks like AUDUSD back at lows, I think, by the end of the week. And then maybe we might be seeing more continuation past that. Again, I've still got targets at 0.74 for AUDUSD. So this area here, 0.74, I still see AUDUSD falling to go and test that area. I don't think it'll do it this week, so it might be a next week, next week opportunity if we can pull back early on next week and then capitalize on that move down. But I think for this week, for AUDUSD, we should be aiming for these lows here, which again is not too far off, probably about 20 odd pips away. So yeah, more downside for AUDUSD, maybe some new lows, spike back up next week, and then we can look to ride it back down to that 0.74. But yeah, looking like we are seeing that US dollar strength. Again, we looked at the DXY. The DXY looks like it's pushed to the upside. I do expect the DXY to be back at 92,400. So if the DXY does get to 92,400, that should help, all the US dollar pairs, GBUSD, EURUSD, AUDUSD, to fall to the downside there. Yeah, same. I do that a lot as well. Cheer does help to find which pairs are better. The pairs that are partnered with each other, like EURGBP, AUDUNZD, USDJPY. Those pairs are good to compare which pairs are slightly better trades, because obviously EURGBP in this instance looks like euro is going to be weaker than the pound, so we should expect euro to flow a bit better than the pound USD. But yeah, it does work, and appreciate that. Okay, so yeah, it does look like the pound is quite strong. Pound AUD is flying to the upside. Pound CAD pushing up either as well. Pound JPY finding some strength as well. So yeah, we are seeing some strength in the pound, hence why GBUSD is pushing up. But I don't think this is a bottom. So again, if you are looking to sell pound JPY or currently are selling pound JPY, I don't think there's anything to worry about really. I think we're just going to retrace a little bit to the upside and then see another push back down. Okay, if I can hit these lower highs here, you know, we do have a trend line there, so that could be where price wants to push to and then fall to the downside further. So I don't think there's anything to worry about. Like I did say previously earlier on the live stream, I do see some of the yen pairs pushing to the upside anyway, and a little bit of a breather because we did have this big push here. So this could just be retracement of that move, even though I don't think it is. It could be retracement of that move. So I think we're going to see a push to the upside, look like we're going to have a continuation and then collapse again to the downside, back into these lows here, 151, 500. So more downside for the yen pairs, but we might be seeing some retracement first and then the continuation. So could open some nice shorts maybe tomorrow, Friday, stroke next week, and then take it and then ride it back down to these lows here, 151, 500. We saw some nice moves to the downside for a lot of the CHF pairs. As you can see, CHF, AGCHF, a nice move to the downside. We were rejecting a nice area on the daily chart, as you can see here, with all those wicks there in the market, numerous wicks. Previously, we came back up again, failed to break through that same area. We had 1, 2, 3, 4 wicks breaking through, and then next day's candle, very strong bearish to the downside. So we were anticipating that move yesterday. Same with NZCHF, we're rejecting this area of support, taking that across, numerous rejections above that area, and then the collapse to the downside. We also saw GBCHF did fall to the downside, however, because we're seeing some pound strength coming in, it's not flowing to the downside like the other pairs. As you can see, we are trying to push high for this one. EuroCHF, we did see a small move to the downside, but overall I think we're just getting consolidation. It looks like the price might actually want to break to the upside actually for EuroCHF, but again, I do not trade this pair. Well, I can trade it, but I haven't traded it for a long time, so you know, I don't really plan on trading it, just because it's very choppy. It doesn't really move well. It looks like we're breaking through that trend line, to be fair, so we might be seeing some upside for EuroCHF, maybe a reversal. But yeah, I don't really look to trade this pair at all. I do not like it. But yeah, if I was to pick a move, it might be to the upside with that trend line break. Price is still making these higher lows here in the market, so 1, 2, potentially 3. So yeah, we could be seeing another push, create a higher high, and then maybe turn bullish. I think for the rest of the week, I'll be looking at Euro GBP for some potential moves to catch on that pair. We've already had that big push to the downside, so I think probably wait for price to relax a little bit, then see if we can get some retracement. Again, like I did highlight that area there, so maybe retracement back into that area there, give us a little high on the low time frames, maybe the 50-minute, 30-minute. Then look to get involved there and ride this down to that support, because I do think that's a really good opportunity there for Euro GBP. So yeah, I'll be looking to take advantage of that move. So I think that is the pair I want to focus on for rest of today, tomorrow as well, to see if we can get some opportunities. and then look to ride this move to the downside, because it does look like it's got a good chance of falling back to those lows, back to 0.85 400. But the thing is, with Euro GBP, when it does pick its direction, it does normally move, really well, really sharply, and doesn't often give a pullback until later on. You can see here, previously, once it picks its move, it does plummet, and then it has a nice pullback, and then it rolls over. You can see here, not much pullback there as well. Big push, not much pullback until later on down there. So, when it does pick its direction, it does move quite well. So, hopefully this one can pull back to the upside, but it doesn't have to. It could just rocket to the downside anyway. If that's the case, I've missed the opportunity anyway. But I do think potentially could be seeing some retracement, and then could get involved in some shorts. Well, I actually want to go traveling, to be fair. So yeah, trading does give me that freedom where I don't necessarily have to be in one place to trade. Obviously, I do need a internet connection and a laptop, but yeah, I do want to go traveling. So I'm going to be saving up for that, and but yeah, I think mainly just traveling, see the world, tick off a few things on the bucket list. But yeah, and then trading wise, I'll probably just keep doing what I'm doing. Hopefully try and create a little bit more of a community with my channel as well. So because trading can be lonely sometimes, because at the end of the day it's just you in the market, really. So it's good to trade with other people, or have other people's ideas as well. So try and create a bit more of a community on my channel, and probably get to a point where I can be like meeting up with people that follow my channel as well, do meetups wherever, whenever. So hopefully you can grow the channel a lot more, meet a lot more people that are also like-minded, travel or trade as well. And then just see where life goes. I haven't planned too far ahead, I'm just kind of just going with the flow. But yeah, I think that's the direction where I want to go. Yeah, trading on the daily definitely does give you time. That's good, because you can do whatever you want, really. It gives you so much time to do other things, and you're still trading at the same time. So yeah, very, very, very beneficial. Yeah, exactly. So streams does create a nice environment for people to chat about their trades, learn as well, trade together. So just gonna stick at it, keep going, see if you can get a nice community growing. Well, it is already got a little bit of community growing, to be fair. Only a small community, but it starts somewhere, and then we keep growing. But yeah, William, what are your plans trading wise or life wise? And this Euro GBP, by the way, is just falling, not giving me absolute any opportunity to get involved. I did say this, when this pair picks its direction, it does move very aggressively, and it looks like it's picked this direction. Yeah, so might not have an opportunity for Euro GBP, can still pull back. Euro GBP does have quite aggressive pullback, so if it was to pull back, I will keep an eye out for that. But right now it's looking very, very bearish. So Euro GBP, I do see a move back down to those lows there, 0.85400. But like I said, it might not pull back. It's pulling to the downside very aggressively there. So that's even meaning that we're seeing a lot of strength in the pound, or euro is really weak. I mean, euro not that weak to be fair, so pound might be quite strong. Yeah, pound AUD is flying. Yeah, exactly. So basically financial independence. Don't really have to worry about money anymore. I mean, I definitely want to have that goal as well, to be fair. Yeah, GJ moving up. I don't think there's anything to worry about just yet. I don't think there's anything to worry about, but we are seeing that pound shift come into the markets. Pound USD is probably doing that as well. Yeah, it's pushing up quite well there. Pound CAD pushing up, well, not as much. Pound CHF pushing up. So yeah, we're definitely seeing some pound strength in these markets. I'm not sure if it's long term or just temporary. I think just temporary, because I still think from a technical standpoint, pound USD, pound JPY still do see them moving to the downside. Pound AUD, pound NZD, I think they could be moving up if you do see the weakness in AUD and NZD. Pound CAD, I anticipate to move down. Pound CHF, I think I anticipate to go down, but unsure the price action we're getting recently. So yeah, I do still see pound weakness from a weekly perspective. So yeah, I think it's just going to be short term really. I mean, going on to pound JPY, yeah, we are pushing up, but you know, we do have this trend line that I drew there recently as well. So 1-2, could see that third test and then the drop. So it should be alright. Yeah, exactly. You trade a daily chart as well. So we've still got, you know, it's 11:36 right now. We've still got like 11.5 hours or something like that. So now a lot of trading has to go before the daily candle closes. So we could see a really bullish day, or could pull back and even close bearish. Yeah, discipline, very, very key, very, very key. And the trick to discipline is clarity as well, which I had to find out the hard way. Trick to discipline is clarity, because a lot of my trading, it was clear, like I knew what I was trading, but like stuff like when I should close a position out, or what times, you know, I'm trading, or what pairs I'm trading, you know, was kind of like up to me as I go along. And then I find that I didn't have much discipline, but when you know exactly what you have to do, you get the clarity, and then you can stick to it. Yeah, it could be just be a fake out, to be fair. See how the momentum goes the rest of the day, throughout the rest of the New York session. But yeah, my bias is still to the downside despite the move up here, so I wouldn't worry about it. Nice, man. What were you buying pound USD, Rex? Nice, nice. Yeah, so yeah, we did see that push into the upside there for pound. Because like I did say for pound USD, we have come back to that key area of support on the daily time frame. So big push to the upside there. One bit of a false breakout, another big push, another big push recently there as well. So we're coming to an area where the market keeps bouncing. So the likelihood was going to see another bounce as well. And yeah, we have seen that bounce there for pound USD. And also there you can see the price action previously as well. Nice wicks back into that support, showing that we're struggling to push through. So yeah, we probably were going to push to the upside anyway. And I did say, we do expect to see some retracement to the upside for pound USD. So we did see that kick to the upside there. So yeah, it looks like a good opportunity taken there, Rex. Well done. Yeah, I think we did. We had some news for pound last week, but I haven't seen any news for pound this week. Yeah, I mean, fair enough. I mean, you've already taken your profit there anyway, so you've done well. So Rex, do you scalp then? Do you scalp? Yeah, do you scalp? Because unless do you trade like the 1 minute or 5 minute time frame. Oh, okay, okay. Yeah, we did. We did have pound used today at 7 a.m. Just checked my FX book as well. So yeah, we did have some news at 7 a.m. GDP. No, I think pound JPY. My bias is still to the downside for this one. For pound JPY, so I wouldn't be looking for buys for me anyway. This price action here is looking quite bullish, so I do think we'll see a push to the upside again. Do you have that trend line there? I do think it's only short term though, because I do suspect that pound JPY still wants to head to the downside, and I still do see pound JPY testing that support all the way down there. Yeah, I still see pound JPY testing that support there, but we can see some pullbacks to the upside. You can see there on the daily we've had these 3 bullish candles and then these 4 bearish candles, so we could retrace that move up. As long as pound JPY doesn't take out this resistance here, I still see the market falling over. So we could even push halfway, 75% of the way, and then collapse to the downside. Because again, looking on the hourly time frame, it definitely does look like the market is struggling to break through those lows. We've kind of had 3 attempts now, 1, 2, 3, and a very strong close there at 10 a.m. on the hourly time frame. So it is telling me that price is failing to push lower, and naturally do expect the market to relieve itself to the upside. So yeah, I do see a push to the upside for pound JPY. I won't take it because again, I have that bearish bias. But yeah, if I am wrong, we could see a bigger push to the upside and another test of that resistance. But I'll probably wait for a bit more to develop, maybe a break of that trend line, a pullback, and then ride it to the upside. But yeah, that price action does look bullish. Looks like we're going to have another push to the upside. But again, I think it's probably short term, and then we'll probably roll over. Yeah. I mean, GJ, the funny thing with GJ is because, like I said, last week we had an aggressive push to the upside. So big push to the downside, big push back up again. So GJs either do one or two things. It's either this aggressive bullish run to the upside last week was a pullback of that bearish leg there, and now we're seeing the continuation. Or we just had kind of like a false move to the downside 2 weeks ago of this bearish move. I had another bullish move, just recovering that price, and now we're having the pullback for continuation higher. So we won't know which one it is until it happens. Obviously, you can have your bias of which one it is, but you won't know until it actually happens. So I probably want to see very strong bullish structure first for me to go, yeah, I'll switch my bias to bullish again and look for longs. But the funny thing is with pound JPY, the weekly is still bullish. You can see the price action is still bullish. We could still continue create higher highs back at 156 or 157. On the daily, we are bearish though, because you can see we've had this push, pullback, collapse, breaking through those lows, and then we pull back, create a lower high potentially, and now falling over. So GJ is kind of contradicting itself a little bit. So yeah, a little bit of a tricky pair. GU has a lot more clarity for me. But yeah, I do still see GJ, if it does follow the daily structure, back at this support here. Whether it's going to break through or not too sure. But yeah, I still see GJ pushing to those lows. If you break through the trend line, start creating some higher highs, then yeah, I do see another drive back to that resistance. But for now, I do suspect GJ is still on the bearish side of things and still falling to the downside. But like I said here, the price action does look quite bullish, so we'll probably see a push to the upside. But I think it will probably just be retraced and then another push down. Yeah, I mean, I don't look too much into fundamentals either, to be fair. I mean, I probably will start looking more into it, because I don't think it would hurt me to know more, get more detailed information about the fundamentals and how, it can impact the market, and I could line it up with more of my technicals. So I think that would be a nice advantage to have. So yeah, I will start learning more about the fundamentals. Okay, Rex, do you scalp in a 1 minute time frame? And how many pips do you normally go for as well when you scalp? No, so yeah, I only do Tuesday and Wednesday, 10 a.m. to 12 p.m. Chia. Only 2 days, 2 days a week. Maybe in the future I might start looking back to increase it again. Maybe back to 3 or 4 days. But yeah, currently only 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday. The good old days. The good old days was like what, 4 or 5 months ago. Okay, right. So yeah, that makes a lot of sense. To be fair. Oh, I had no idea about that. To be fair, William. I mean, that makes a lot of sense. To be fair, for the pound. But yeah, I had no idea. Yeah, yeah. I mean, I might look to add Thursday to it then. Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. I might look to add Thursday to the live streams. But yeah, if a lot of people are requesting, more live streams, then yeah, I'll do another day. Yeah, yeah, exactly. I mean, it's only short term as well, so price action is price action. So it should be fine. Shouldn't last too long as well. I mean, I think I'll do a community post on my channel for doing Thursdays as well, added to the live stream, and just see what people's opinion is. Yeah, yeah, that's what I was thinking. I was thinking of that's why I didn't do Monday, because the market's just starting up, so it's a little bit dry, and a lot of the pairs are just getting settled in, so opportunities don't really come to Tuesday, Wednesday, or Thursday. So if I was going to do another day, it would probably be Thursday. Yeah, and Friday is not a popular day for trading as well. Okay guys, I will be looking to end the live stream shortly, so if any of you guys are currently in any trades or want me to look at any different pairs, just drop it down in the live chat and I'll make sure I'll get back to you. Oh, BTC, I didn't see that, I'm so sorry. Wait, are you talking about, because okay, so Noel, sorry I didn't see your chat earlier, but I'll be looking at this pair now. So yeah, right now more downside I'm seeing, because basically again we've had this big collapse to the downside and the price has been trying to turn bullish, but overall it's still failing to do so. We've created some new lows not too long ago, and now we've pushed back up. We pushed back up to 36k, key area of resistance, which was our lower high kind of resistance here. As you can see, push, pull back, collapse, pull back to that same area, formed a higher low, now push back into that same area as well. So if you do snap past 36k, then we might be turning, not bullish, but we might be seeing a bigger run back to 40k. And as of yet, we're still holding that as resistance, and we've seen a nice change of momentum there. So I think if this sustains itself, then we should be falling to the downside again, potentially maybe a higher low and then another drive up, or maybe a push back down to the lows. If you can get past it, then yeah, it does set up a nice opportunity, and if you can hold above it, back to 40k. But as of yet, we've seen quite strong rejection there. So so yeah, I wouldn't be looking for longs just yet, but if you do get above it, then longs could be good. Short-term longs back to 40k, then we might collapse again. But if we don't and reject this area, then we should be moving back to, you know, kind of this area around here, and maybe even further as well, because the market is still technically bearish as well. So yeah, that is what I'm favoring. But yeah, currently still in your USD shorts at this moment in time. Still taking its time to get past this support. Again, hopefully we'll be there by the end of the week. Still got the rest of Wednesday, Thursday and Friday. And yes, hopefully you can get that change of momentum to the downside, break through that. DXY still looks good for a move to the upside back into 92,400, which is that resistance there. Going to 4H, you can see a nice push up. I'm having a tough time breaking through this area here, which is probably why EURUSD is stalling. But if you can break through there, then yeah, I think filling in that gap to the upside back to 92,400 looks good. Might see a brief push to the downside though, and then the break. But yeah, I will be holding my trade throughout the week, so shouldn't be too much of a worry if it does retrace a little bit more and then breaks to the upside. Yeah, exactly. So I won't be looking to buy Bitcoin. I mean, if I was looking to buy it, it would be a trade, not an investment. You know, trade, it'd be a few days. But if I was looking to invest, I would not be investing now into Bitcoin. High time frames, weekly and monthly, still look like they're need retracement. Weekly's bearish, monthly still bullish, but it looks like it's in retracement mode. So yeah, waiting for that retracement to finish, and then some investments could be coming up. Okay guys, so it's coming up to 12 p.m, so we'll look to wrap up the live stream. Like always, going to do a quick rundown of some of the pairs that we looked at before, see how they're going. Maybe look at potential opportunities later in the week, and then yeah, I'll look to end the live stream from there. But first up, we'll start with Euro USD, so I'll just get rid of that. Overall, still looking for a move to the downside. Currently, that's the trade I'm in as well. Looking for a push back into 1.18500. I can see the market pushing all the way back down to 1.18. Also depends if the DXY wants to push up as well. But I can see that happening. The market is still very, very bearish on the higher time frames. You can see on the daily, big collapse to the downside. I think it was rolling over, rejecting that 1.19500 area. Strong area of support, now resistance. I think we could be pushing to the downside there for Euro USD. AUD, similar matter here as well, rejecting that 0.76 level. Nice area of daily support, now term resistance, nice spikes into it last week, and now this week we're seeing the follow through. So yeah, back to lows for AUD, which is around 0.75. Well, 0.74, 800's already hit 0.75. So yeah, more downside for AUD, back to these lows, might spike below. And I think the next move we could be waiting for is if it spikes below, retraces back up, forms a lower high, and then get involved for some shorts. And I think 0.74 is the target for AUD. Entity USD, similar matter here as well. It does move similar to AUD. You can see we are falling to the downside there as well. It is rejecting this area of resistance here, which previously it stalled at. However, this time it failed to break through, and now we're seeing the shift of momentum from the bulls back to the bears. So yeah, Entity USD, similar to AUD, back down to that support. And if it does the same thing, spiking through, pulls back, can ride it much lower, back down to around the 0.68 level. Pound USD, this one seems to be finding some strength from testing that support there, and we are still pushing to the upside, but I still think GBUSD is still bearish. If it does break through the trend line, then yeah, I'll probably look to analyze Pound USD again, see what the pound wants to do from there. But I still do see the market rolling back over, back to the downside, and seeing some new lows. USD CAD, similar there as well, big push to the upside. Retracement mode, we did highlight this area here, 1.23400. If it does retrace into there, I think it's just another opportunity to find some buys and target 1.24800, which is that previous high up there. But like I said, we are seeing that strength coming in from the US dollar. DXY looks good for buys, so USD CAD should follow. No problem. Thank you again for joining the live stream, William. Does mean it a lot. Make sure you have a good week as well, and yeah, have a great time in the markets, guys. Have a great time in the markets. Hope you all have a good week. But yeah, thanks again for joining the live stream. Everyone, does mean a lot. If you haven't already, make sure you hit the subscribe button if you do enjoy the content, and yeah, feel free to leave a like. Thanks again, William. Does mean that a lot. And yeah, I'll catch you guys in the next one. I will be doing a poll on my community post to see if people want me to do another live stream on Thursday. So make sure you look out for that and let me know. But yeah, thanks again for joining the live stream. Everyone, does mean a lot. Hope you all have a great day, great week, great trading week. And yeah, I'll catch you guys on the next one.